Okay, let's be real. Everybody wants to know who's going to play Batman in James Gunn's brand new DC universe. The Dark Knight is one of the most iconic superheroes of all time, and the thought of a fresh actor putting on the cape and cowl has fans debating non-stop online. But recently, Gunn himself cleared the air about one rumor that just wouldn't die. The idea of Chris Pratt stepping into the role of Batman. And spoiler alert, he's not. In a recent interview, Gunn flat out said Pratt won't be playing the Caped Crusader in The Brave and the Bold. That's right, the casting list just got shorter, and while some fans are disappointed, many others breathed a sigh of relief. But don't think this is the end of Pratt's DC story, because Gunn made it crystal clear that he does want Pratt in the DCU. So how did all of this even start? Well, James Gunn has a long history of working with Chris Pratt. The two first teamed up way back in 2014 when Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel, and Pratt became a household name overnight as Star-Lord. Since then, they've stuck together for 2 sequels, plus that holiday special on Disney. And as anyone who follows Gunn's career knows, he's the kind of director who likes working with the same people over and over again. That's why fans started speculating that Gunn might pull Pratt into the DC fold. Add in some offhand jokes during Guardians Volume 3 press interviews, and suddenly the internet was convinced Pratt could be Batman. But here's where things get interesting. During his latest interview, Gunn didn't just say no to Pratt as Batman. He also emphasized that while Pratt won't wear the cape, there's definitely a role waiting for him in the DCU. This is important because Gunn's new DC universe is still very much in the early stages. He and co-head Peter Safran have already mapped out an ambitious slate of movies and shows, starting with Superman and continuing with projects like Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing, and yes, The Brave and the Bold. So if Gunn is already teasing that Pratt will appear somewhere down the line, it means those talks are happening behind the scenes right now. Now let's zoom in on Batman specifically. The Brave and the Bold is one of the most highly anticipated projects in the new DCU. It won't just introduce a new Batman, it'll also bring Damian Wayne, Bruce Wayne's son, into live action for the first time. Fans are expecting a darker, family-driven story that separates itself from Matt Reeves' The Batman universe, which is still doing its own thing with Robert Pattinson. Gunn has made it clear that casting Batman is a huge decision, and that he won't even start looking at actors until the script is finished. That hasn't stopped the rumor mill, though, with names like Alan Ritchson and Brendan Sklenar floating around online. But with Pratt officially out, the speculation is narrowing. So why was Chris Pratt such a controversial fan casting in the first place? Well, some people just don't see him as a fit for the brooding, gritty side of Batman. Pratt's screen presence is usually charming, comedic, and lighthearted, great for roles like Star-Lord or even action heroes like Owen in Jurassic World. But Batman is a whole different ballgame. The character demands intensity, a darker emotional range, and a kind of gravitas that many fans weren't sure Pratt could deliver. When fans started making mock-up images of him in the Batsuit, the internet reaction wasn't exactly positive. So when Gunn finally shut that door, it felt like a relief for those who wanted a more serious choice for Gotham's protector. Still, Gunn's words left the door wide open for Pratt to appear in another role. And that's where things get really fun, because the DC universe is full of characters who could fit Pratt's personality. The #1 fan theory right now? Booster Gold. If you don't know Booster, he's a time-traveling superhero from the future who uses advanced tech to make himself look like a bigger hero than he actually is. The character is funny, flawed, and often a little clueless, which feels like a tailor-made fit for Pratt's comedic timing. In fact, a Booster Gold series has already been announced for Max, so the timeline checks out. But here's the twist. Some fans think Booster Gold might be too small of a role for someone like Chris Pratt. Remember, this is an A-list actor who still has commitments with Marvel. Even if his Star-Lord appearances slow down, he's still a big name who could carry a major DC character. So maybe Gunn has something bigger in mind. Imagine Pratt taking on a more dramatic or even villainous role, something that challenges his usual typecast. Characters like Kite Man have been tossed around in speculation, especially since Gunn teased him during Peacemaker Season 1. Having Pratt show up in an offbeat, unexpected role like that could shock audiences in the best way. And let's not forget, Gunn has already started sprinkling his Marvel friends into the DCU. Pom Klementieff, Sean Gunn, Bradley Cooper, and Michael Rooker are all confirmed to appear in various DC projects. Rooker, for instance, will reprise his role as Red Saint Wild in Peacemaker Season 2. That shows Gunn is serious about keeping his creative family close. With Pratt being one of his closest collaborators and even one of his best friends, it feels like only a matter of time before he joins the party. The only real question is who he'll play and how big that role will be. One thing that's clear from Gunn's comments is that casting choices in the new DCU aren't being made lightly. After years of ups and downs at DC Films, Warner Brothers is putting a lot of faith in Gunn and Safran to build a stable, interconnected universe. That means every casting choice is about more than just one movie. It's about setting up years of storytelling. Choosing the right Batman is critical, but so is choosing the right supporting characters. So while Pratt may not wear the cowl, his eventual role could help shape the larger universe in significant ways. The interesting part is how Gunn is managing fan expectations. By shutting down the Batman rumor now, he's avoiding a potential backlash later. Imagine if he hadn't clarified, and then months down the line Pratt was officially cast. Fans would have gone wild, and not in a good way. Instead, Gunn is taking control of the narrative early, which helps keep the excitement focused on the real possibilities. It's a smart move, and it shows that Gunn is paying close attention to how fandom culture shapes the reception of his projects. What does this mean for the timeline of Batman casting? Well, Gunn has said repeatedly that they won't pick anyone until the script for The Brave and the Bold is finalized. That means fans might be waiting months, maybe even longer, before hearing who the next Batman will be. In the meantime, speculation will keep running wild, and every actor with a square jaw and a moody stare is going to get thrown into the mix. But one thing is certain, Chris Pratt's name is officially off the list. As for Pratt himself, he seems to be in a great spot. Between finishing his Marvel commitments, continuing with big franchises like Jurassic World, and now having the door open to DC, his career is as busy as ever. Whether he ends up as Booster Gold, Kite Man, or someone we haven't even considered yet, his eventual DC role is almost guaranteed. And when that announcement finally drops, it's going to get people talking all over again, just like the Batman rumor did, but hopefully with a lot more excitement and a lot less worry. So here's the bottom line. Chris Pratt is not the next Batman, and James Gunn himself said so. But that doesn't mean Pratt's out of the DCU. Far from it. If anything, Gunn's comments prove that Pratt's involvement is inevitable. It's just a matter of where and when. For now, fans can look forward to The Brave and the Bold shaping up behind the scenes, with Batman casting still one of the biggest mysteries in Hollywood. Until then, the speculation continues. The theories keep flying, and one thing is for sure, the DCU is only just getting started.